Hey everybody, Evan here with the Grainiac. Today I'm doing a quick video on making jerky out of ground meat. It can be ground beef, ground chicken, ground pork. You can grind your own, you can buy it already ground up. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is. Throwing in the seasonings, mix it up, let it sit in the fridge overnight, form it. I'm going to be using a dehydrator. So enjoy the video, click like, subscribe, comment, and let's get rolling. I'll show you guys how to make jerky. Real easy recipe, anybody can do it. You can also cook it in the oven, and we'll talk about that too. Okay. All right, making some jerky today. I am using ground pork that I ground up myself. Got some spices. I have soy sauce, and we have some liquid smoke. You need a bowl. I prefer glass bowls, something to cover it with to put it in the fridge because it's going to be raw meat. You don't want it by vegetables or cooked meats or anything, so you want to make sure to cover that. For spices, I'm doing 3 pounds, so figure that out with your spices. I do 1 teaspoon of salt for every pound, half of that in sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of cure for every pound of meat. So I'm doing 3 pounds, so that's 3/4 teaspoon of the cure. And make sure to mix well so the cure gets through everything. You don't have to cure your meat, especially if you're going to be using it within a few weeks, because you're going to be dehydrating it down. I just like to make it a little bit more shelf stable, make sure nothing's going to be growing in it, but mix that all up. I got salt, sugar, cure, then I did the pepper flakes, garlic, did some ground mustard, and a little bit of chili. So mix that up good. Then I'm just putting my ground meat in a bowl. We ground up this pork a few weeks ago. Made some sausages out of it. And then I left some just plain in case I wanted to make something later, or like today, making some pork jerky. And then just coarse ground. I ground it through the grinder one time. So you have that. I'm just adding my spices to it right now. And both hands. That really get in there. You want to make sure you grind it for a good long time, because you want to make sure that cure gets in there. You want that cure to penetrate. That's why you leave it in the fridge overnight. And also the seasonings. The longer the seasonings sit on meat, the more it's going to penetrate, the richer, deeper flavor you're going to have. Squish it with your fingers. You're going to have to get in there real good. I've done this a lot, so I might be going a little fast, but basically you just want to knead it real good. I'll use a little soy sauce. I'll figure 2 tablespoons for this amount. And just eyeball it. Liquid smoke. You don't need too much. Just a few squirts. Just enough to make it seem like it's been in the smoker, because we're using the dehydrator after all. Mix, mix, mix. You want to make sure that smoke gets everywhere, because you don't want to get a concentrated piece of smoke. And that'll penetrate through everywhere too. Kind of tell with that liquid smoke if it's getting in one area versus another. But you almost want to emulsify this when it's going to be jerky, because you want the protein to break down and bind. When it cooks, you don't want it to separate. So that's why I really mix it and I really crush it, because you just want it to be just one solid piece of meat. You don't want it to look like burger when you're done. But that's pretty much it right there. And then I cover it with the pressing seal. And then I'm going to throw it in the fridge for overnight, and we'll form it and put it on the trays for the dehydrator tomorrow. Alright, so I have the meat mixture from last night. I'm going to press it down, even it out on the wax paper. Sometimes it's a little easier to get more wax paper to put on top. That way you can really flatten it out. Whatever thickness you want, the thinner it is, the faster it'll dehydrate. And you're going to be cutting it into strips. You're just lightly cutting through. You don't want to cut your wax paper on the bottom. However thin you want it, however thick you want it. Just cut your own. These are going to be your jerky strips. If I'm just doing 3 or 5 pounds at a time, I don't mind doing it like this. Some people buy a jerky gun. I don't have one because I don't make it often enough. Then you have to clean the gun. I just don't think it's worth it. So then once you're done cutting all the way down, then you cut them the length that you want. And basically just take them right off. Shape them a little bit more if you want. Flatten them out. And you're now laying it on your dehydrator tray. Since we mixed them good, they're sticking together pretty well. Put that in the dehydrator overnight at 160. If you put it in the oven, you also want to do at 170 is the lowest my oven goes. So put them in at 170 with a drip rack underneath, because you don't want to start your oven on fire. So have a sheet pan like this. If you're just laying these right on the rack of your oven, have a pan on the bottom to catch all your drippings. But 7, 8, 9 hours, just keep an eye on your jerky, however dry you want it. Some people like theirs a little chewier, some people like theirs a little drier. So it's up to you, but I'll get this all loaded up and turn on the dehydrator overnight and show you what I have in the morning. Alright, it's been 10 hours. This is what the jerky looks like when it's done. There we go, easy. Any kind of jerky from ground meat.